This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
And welcome to the 2019 Klingberg Family Centers Concours d'Elegance. And this V16 Cadillac certainly got our attention. And boy, let me tell you, you are in for a treat today, as this show is just fantastic. And yes, moving down the car, we come across the absolutely stunning 1931 Cadillac V16. And boy, let me tell you, Dick, this car is gorgeous. Tell me about this car.
Well, it's a 1931 Cadillac. It's a V16. That means 16 cylinders. It's made in 1931. The body is what makes this so unique. The V16 Cadillacs were unique in themselves, but this one is a Lansfield body, Lansfield of London. And Lansfield made only one of these in 1931, so we're actually very proud to own it.
Now, let me ask you a question. Where was their location? I mean, did they actually build this body in London?
Yes, they did. Lansfield was in downtown London. They were bodybuilders, custom bodybuilders for vintage automobiles. Obviously, I don't know the exact history of when they started, when they didn't. I did at one time know that, but they're well-known European bodybuilders. Yes.
Now, tell me, where do you call home, Dick?
Well, my residence is in Warwick, Rhode Island. I have a showroom in Providence. We got approximately 50 cars in the showroom, and we also do vintage motorcycles. We've got about 50, 60 of those as well.
Wow. So, life as well, huh?
Well, I live for this. This is what I do. It's what I spend my life. I enjoy this. Every 24 hours a day, I'm living and breathing vintage cars. When I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming about vintage cars.
Well, let me tell you, I always say the vintage car world is alive and well.
Oh, yes, it is. And it'll be alive and well for many years to come, hopefully.
So you have an actual showroom out in the Warwick?
I have
Providence?
Actually, I have a showroom, 2 showrooms in Providence, but my residence as well. I have a shop there, but most of the vintage motorcycles are in Warwick at my residence. So, yeah, we've got quite a bit to see. We have a show coming up in August 18th. The New England Region Cadillac LaSalle Club I'll be hosting it at my residence. So we get a lot of people coming for that as well. Yeah.
You near Federal Hill?
Well, my showroom down city is not far from Federal Hill. Yeah, not far at all from Federal Hill.
My favorite area.
Yeah, it's a nice place to visit. I was actually there last night.
Very good.
Yeah,
So how long did it take to restore this car?
Well, most of the cars I have, I restore. This particular one, I did not restore. I bought this pretty much the way it is now. I did some tweaking on it. I corrected a few things that weren't correct, and but I did not restore this one. No.
I'll tell you, I just can't get over the paint job, and I mean it's just stunning.
Well, when I saw it, I knew about this car years ago. The car had come to the United States, and it was shipped back to Europe over 10 years ago. And then when I heard that it came back to the United States, I went to look at it and see it in person. And when I saw it in person, I said, I got to have this car. I mean, the lines on it, and it's so unique. I'm so used to looking at many different style V16s, and I never saw one like this. So I said I had to have it.
How many V16s you say you own?
Well, right now I've probably got 7 of them.
Wow.
7 different body styles.
You must have a good mechanic that knows these things inside and out.
Actually, I do. I have a guy that's been with me 30 years, and he's pretty good on these V16s. He's very knowledgeable.
You don't see him every day.
No, you don't. No, 31, they made like 3,000 of them. And 32, they made just under 300. And in 33, they only made 126. So it shows how rare they've gotten. And I'm fortunate to own examples from all 3 of those years, 30 to 33.
You are very fortunate.
Yeah, I am.
Now, do you come to Klingberg here often?
Yeah, I get invited here, and each time I've actually been here 3 times now, and I do it as these are good guys, and Wayne is a good friend of mine, and I love this show. I don't do too many shows, but this is one I like to do.
Yeah, Mark Johnson is very special, and what they do here is very special.
Exactly. That's why I'm happy to be able to be a part of it.
Well, we are certainly glad you're here and hope to see you here every year. And I have to commend you, I'll tell you.
Well,
this
I thank
car,
you guys very much.
This car, when I went by this car, I said, wow.
Well, I'm proud to own it. Very proud to own this car. So, and I'm happy to be here too. And you guys do a great job. I do a lot of, like I said, through the years, I've done many different shows. I don't do many anymore, but you guys do an excellent job here, and I'm just glad.
I'm going to tell you something. We may have to give you a call someday and come up and do a show at your showroom.
You're welcome to come anytime. There's a lot to show you.
Oh,
I'll give you my contact information, and you guys come anytime.
You got it, buddy.
Okay.
Good luck today, and Dick, you're special. Let me tell you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys
Very
are great.
good.
Thank you.
And yes, Dick's 1931 Cadillac B16 was special. Wow. I have never seen a car like this in my life. So pretty. Just beautiful. And yes, once again, we're honored to have the presence of George Dragon. And I'm going to tell you, George, every time I see you, there's a special car near you. And I know this car has got some history with you. And as usual, I know you're going to let us know exactly what's going on.
Well, thanks, Larry. I do try to bring a different car to every event, just to show people, that there's lots of classic cars still out there, and this is a great event today here at the Klingberg show. Behind us is a 1932 Pierce Arrow V12 7-passenger touring car, originally built for the city of New York. It's got freestanding headlights. People know a Pierce Arrow by the headlights that were in the fenders, but it was illegal to drive a Pierce Arrow with the headlights in the fenders in New York back for a while, back in the 20s and early 30s. This is a V12, one of two built, and it's the only one known to exist.
Wow, this is a one of two built. But the car, I mean, the colors and everything are gorgeous.
Yes, as far as we know, they're original colors. It was restored some time ago, but it was a very original car, so it was correctly done.
Now, this car has some history with Lou Biondi, too?
Yes, they're honoring Lou Biondi, who was an old-time collector here from Connecticut. As a matter of fact, the field here is the Lou Biondi field where we have the antique car show every year. And he was a collector for many years. He started collecting cars in 1948, passed away 5 years ago. So they're honoring him today as a feature collector. And this is the newest antique car that he owned. And on the other side is one of the oldest cars that he owned.
Yeah, let me tell you, when I used to come here and see his Corbins, my mouth used to just drop because you never see those cars.
Right, Corbins were built right here in New Britain, and he had two, a 1907 and a 1914.
Yep. And also, George, I understand you kind of got a new location.
We do. You've been to our old location when we recently moved to Orange, Connecticut. New big 66,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
It's a showroom and restoration all under one roof.
Under one roof.
Yes, yeah. So we do everything right in one building now.
Wow. Well, there's plus and minus with that. Now you got to look at your brother every day.
There's no place for me to hide. But no, we have a lot of room to spread out now, and our guys are work. We have 22 employees and are very happy with all the new space that they have.
Well, let me tell you, I know your work is spot on, and I expect nothing but great things. And me and Billy are going to have to take a ride out and do a show out there on your new place.
Please do. You're welcome anytime.
Oh, very good. I don't want to tie you up because I know you got many friends here you want to say hello to, but I got to commend you. George, it's a pleasure always to see you naturally, but your cars are special.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for everything. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Very good, George. You're ready. And yes, we got the famous Herb Singe with his beautiful collection. And in 1906, Merkel, let me tell you, this bike got a little history. Tell me, and you know it.
Yeah. First of all, it's infamous Herb Singe, not famous Herb Singe. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm not a neighbor of Tony Soprano. 1906, Milwaukee Merkel. Joseph Merkel was a bicycle manufacturer and assembler. He had a bicycle shop in Milwaukee. In 1899, he built purported to be the first motorized vehicle in Wisconsin. It was a motorized single-cylinder tricycle. They were very popular back then. 2 wheels in the back with a motor between, a little rear end and 1 wheel in the front. You drive around. They had tricycle races, very popular for a year or two in both America and Europe, from 1897 in Europe and about 1899 in America to about 1901. A lot of car companies got started with tricycles. Lozier, which is one of over there, Pierce Arrow, a lot of them started building tricycles and then went on to other things, including Merkel. The next year in 1900, he built his first two-wheeler, motorized two-wheeler. Some people call it a bicycle with a motor, but it really was a motorcycle, because every motorcycle that was ever made throughout the world until 1914 was all pedal start. Kickstart came in 1914. I have a lot of motorcycles up to 1915. I love pedal start motorcycles, and I have one kickstart motorcycle, 1915 Excelsior. This Merkel I bought this 1906 Merkel about a little over 30 years ago by a man named Bud Eakins. Now, you may not know who Bud Eakins was, but he happened to be Steve McQueen's best friend. But everyone watching the show has seen Bud Eakins, because if you watch The Great Escape, he's the guy that takes the bike over the jump, over the fence. And if you ever watched the movie Bullet, he's the guy driving the green Mustang. Unless you can see Steve McQueen's face very clearly in the shot, he's the one driving the green Mustang, which beat out the Charger when the Charger got destroyed, whatever. And by the way, that Mustang just surfaced last year after it was owned by the same family for many years and just used a regular vehicle.
Now, tell me, these Merkel, I mean, they're very famous.
Well, yeah, the Merkel company, Joe Merkel built a real quality motorcycle. And up through 1908, when he sold out, he was the largest manufacturer of motorcycles in Milwaukee, not the other company called Harley Davidson, which you see next to it. He was larger. Harley Davidson, they say they started in 1903, and they did start building their building motors in the back in a little 10 by 12 shed in the back of one of their houses, but they really never built a motorcycle, really, probably 1905. They say they have a 1903, but anyway, really 1905 was the first year. Merkel was already well into production by then, and in fact, Bill Harley and the Davidson brothers learned a lot and hung with Joseph Merkel, and they learned a lot from him. So Merkel did very well. And in 1908, he was approached by the Light Company, the Light Foundry of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and they actually bought out the Merkel Company and moved the Merkel motorcycle manufacturing division or whatever company down to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, where it became Merkel Light. And a year or two later, they were sponsoring a couple of racers, factory racers.
Flying Merkel.
Yes. You're good at stealing the punchlines, aren't you? So they called the boys of the team the Flying Merkels, because the flying was very popular. The Thomas Flyers and the Wright brothers, flying was the new rage, even more technologically advanced than motorcycles or cars. And so they called themselves Flying Merkels, and so that was so popular that in 1911 they called the Merkel brand, instead of Merkel Light, they made it Flying Merkels, and they were very quality motorcycles. Then right around that time, 1911 or 12, a company by the name of the Miami Motorcycle Company, Middletown, Ohio, they bought the Flying Merkel brand and Merkel Light motorcycles and moved them from Pottstown to Middletown, Ohio, where they've been building race cycles, which weren't very good motorcycles. They stopped building race cycles, continued building Flying Merkels until World War I, around 1915 or so. Instead, they stopped motorcycle production to do war work, and after the war, they never continued motorcycle production, and that was the end of the Flying Merkels.
Well, I'll tell you, you have to be very happy owning this bike, because they are very rare, let me tell you. And as usual, Herb, you're always right on your game. I have to tell you, when it comes to history, boy, you know what it is.
Yeah, it's fun, and I actually have two Milwaukee Merkels, so I'm twice blessed. The other one, not quite as nice as this, but they're both real, original bikes. I like bikes that were original frame, original. I have a couple that, one or two that are not, but I tell everybody it is, but we try to have the real original 110, in this case, 113-year-old motorcycle, and and it's basically in as found condition. And I bought it from Bud Eakins along with 8 other motorcycles. And Bud was a great guy. He was a wonderful Triumph motorcycle racer in the 50s and 60s, and he was a great Hollywood stuntman and transportation. He furnished old cars and motorcycles to the Hollywood crowd.
Boy, you know your history.
Anyway, so I have 2 Milwaukee Merkles. I have a light, which is rarer than Milwaukee Merkles. I have 2 Merkle lights, but guess what? I don't have a flying Merkle. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Can't tell.
I want to thank you, Herb. You're always excellent. You know that. We look forward to seeing you here every year.
Well, we tried. It's a
All right.
It's a wonderful event.
You too.
Thanks to Mark Johnson.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Very good.
Take care.
Very good. You're right on your game. Yes, we got George Vassas with this beautiful 1922, is it?
22.
Studebaker, which I have never seen one. George, this car is beautiful. Tell me about it.
Well, thank you. It's one of about 2, maybe 3 known to exist. Studebaker built a lot of cars in 22, but most of these are gone, so there's not too many left. I bought it about 6 years ago. It was in pretty good shape, but I wanted it to be more reliable, so I took it all apart and rebuilt it all. So
The motor in this car is kind of special, right?
well, Studebaker made 3 sizes of motors. They made what's called a Big 6, and then they had a Special 6, and then the smallest one was a Light 6. This is a Special 6, 289 cubic inches.
Wow. That's a big motor.
So, well, it's a Big 6, yeah, or it's a good size 6 anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a fun car to.
Now, where do you call home, George?
I'm from Westfield, Massachusetts.
You're not far away.
No, it's less than an hour or so to get down.
This is the first time you've been to Klingberg?
No, I was here last year too.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked it so much we came back this year.
Great show, I tell you.
Yep. Yep.
Go to many over the year?
I go to a couple different shows. I like Greenwich. Go to the Hemmings show, and I was lucky enough to have a car out of Pebble Beach 2 years ago. So.
Wow. Your life is good.
Well, I'm a car guy, and I'm retired, so I have time to spend on all that stuff now.
Oh, yeah, I like to say the collector car world is alive and well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure you're going to do very well with this car today. But I have to commend you. The car is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the interview, and good luck today.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
Thanks so much.
You are great. Okay, Billy? Yes, when you come to Klingberg, you never know what you're going to see. And yes, George's Studebaker was very special. As I travel around to different shows, you just don't see that this kind of a car, especially the quality of the work done too. But Studebakers were very good cars, and they're well represented when it comes to classic cars. Yes, this little history about this 1922 Studebaker Special 6 was kind of interesting to read, as this car has been to many outstanding shows throughout the Northeast. And boy, let me tell you, the car was gorgeous, without a doubt. Of course, at Klingberg, you always have to have the period correct dancers, and as usual, they put on a great show. It's always just a fantastic event here. Please remember that this Klingberg event is always the day before or day on Father's Day, and boy, let me tell you, it is special, and as you can see, it's always a lot of fun, without a doubt. course, at Klingberg, you always have to have the period correct dancers, and as usual, they put on a great show. It's always just a fantastic event. Please remember, this Klingberg event is always the day before or day on Father's Day, and boy, let me tell you, it is special, and as you can see, it's always a lot of fun. Yes, we have Charles and Kathy Hand with this beautiful 1931 Chrysler Imperial. I have never seen one of these cars. You got to tell me, Charles, about this car.
We've had it since 1990. When we got it, it was unrestored. We drove it unrestored for about 9-10 years. I think we took it off the road in the late 90s, 99, and did a complete restoration, put it back on the road in 2001. And we enjoyed it immensely. This is one of our favorite car shows here in Connecticut. We do Stowe, Vermont. We do Beverly, Mass. We enjoy it immensely.
Now tell me, where do you call home, Charles?
Essex, Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, good. Connecticut guy, yeah?
I'm a Connecticut guy, yes.
Now, who did the restoration of this car?
It was done by Gary Stone in Pollock, Vermont.
Okay.
And the interior was done in Springfield, Vermont, Hurd upholstery. And the mechanical, I did all the assembly, but I didn't do the paintwork and I didn't do the upholstery.
I'll tell you, the car is gorgeous, you know. Now tell me.
Interesting history of how we got the car. The car was in Hemmings, and I ended up trading 3 cars. I had a 32 Packard, 52 MG TD, and then the guy said, "Oh, you got to keep sweetening the pie," and I threw in my wife's Mercedes to get this.
Wow. Now tell me, Kathy, do you ever drive this car?
No.
No? You're not allowed, huh?
Probably wouldn't know how.
Yeah. Even though you gave up your cars, right?
I know.
Surprisingly, it's very agile. She could drive it.
I bet it is. I could tell the work that was done in this car is very special.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
And what kind of motor is in this car?
It has a 135 horsepower straight 8.
Straight 8.
Straight 8.
Okay. Now, is it a flathead?
Flathead straight 8.
I bet you could put a coffee on the top of that motor and won't even shimmer.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They run like a clock. Yes.
Yeah,
And it has hydraulic brakes. This was from the factory. Chrysler was one of the first to come out with hydraulic brakes.
Well.
They had hydraulic brakes in 1927, way ahead of their time.
Wow, ahead of their time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you're going to do very well here today, but I have to commend you.
Well,
Car is absolutely gorgeous. I love the color schemes, the interior. I mean, wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I know you're going to do well. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your interview, and Kathy, you're a lucky lady
Thank you.
with a good man and car. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And yes, as we come to the conclusion of the show today, we took a couple of pictures of some other cars. We didn't get a chance to talk to the owners. But boy, let me tell you, this Packard is something special. And when you come here, you just don't know ever what you're going to see. And there's always something to hear for everybody, believe me. Just remember this Klingberg show, Father's Day weekend in the future. It is something to see. You will not be disappointed. Please return next week to our next episode on Racing Action Today.
This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.